What if I told you that one of the most powerful ways to restore leg strength, especially if you've been feeling slower, weaker, or more fatigued, doesn't come from the gym or a pill, but from your kitchen? In fact, recent research shows that a single food, when timed and paired correctly, can begin revitalizing neuromuscular function within just 12 hours. Let's start with a surprising insight from a 2023 study published in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition. When adults over 50 consumed a specific type of nutrient-rich food in the evening, measurable improvements in muscle protein synthesis and mitochondrial activity were seen by the very next morning. These are the biological engines behind energy, recovery, and strength, especially in your legs, which are often the first to show signs of decline as we age. This isn't just about aesthetics or even mobility. It's about something far more fundamental: your independence, your confidence, and your longevity. When leg strength fades, everything changes. Climbing stairs feels harder. Balance becomes shaky. Energy dips. And often people chalk it up to just getting older. But here's the truth. Age is not the primary driver of muscle decline. The more significant culprits are chronic undernourishment at the cellular level, low-grade inflammation, and misaligned circadian rhythms. In other words, it's not your calendar age, it's your biology. What you eat, when you eat it, and how it interacts with your nervous system and muscles matters. In this episode, we're going to explore the neuroscience and physiology behind a single, accessible food that can dramatically improve leg function, especially when used strategically. You'll learn the nutrient profile that supercharges neuromuscular recovery overnight, how this food restores mitochondrial efficiency, your muscle's energy factories, the role of amino acid signaling in regaining muscle density, why your circadian clock influences how well this food works, how to time it for maximum effect, and a step-by-step protocol you can start tonight. This isn't hype, it's science. It's also a reminder that with the right tools, your body can rebound faster than you think. Let's dive in. For decades, we believed muscle loss with age was primarily due to atrophy, the shrinking of muscle fibers from disuse or hormonal decline. But neuroscience is now painting a different picture, one that's far more hopeful and much more actionable. What researchers are uncovering is this: much of the muscle you think you've lost isn't gone, it's just disconnected. Here's what the research shows. Starting as early as your 40s, the motor neurons that connect your brain and spinal cord to your muscles, particularly those in your legs, begin to degrade or lose efficiency. This disconnect leads to reduced electrical signaling, meaning muscles don't fully receive the message to contract. They're there, but they're idle. One groundbreaking study from the University of Calgary found that adults with declining leg strength still retain the structural potential for muscle activity. The issue was neuromuscular signaling. In simpler terms, the muscle wasn't dead, it was just offline. And that means it can be brought back online. Have you ever stood up from a chair and felt wobbly for no obvious reason? Or noticed your legs fatigue faster than they used to, even without a change in routine? That's not just aging, that's a neural communication breakdown. And the good news is, there's a way to repair it. The spinal cord plays a key role here. It acts as a relay station for movement commands, and it relies on continuous nutrient-driven support to maintain signal fidelity. Think of your leg muscles like a team of skilled workers, and your nervous system as the foreman shouting instructions through a megaphone. If the megaphone battery is dying, performance drops. But if you recharge the battery, the team gets back to work quickly. One of the fastest ways to do this? Fuel the neuromuscular junction, the place where your nerves meet your muscles, with key nutrients that restore signaling efficiency. Certain amino acids, B vitamins, and acetylcholine precursors can dramatically improve this connection within hours. And that's where the food we're focusing on comes in. You'll discover that this food isn't just high in protein. It contains the specific nutrients your nervous system uses to regenerate communication. which means you're not just feeding your muscles, you're reactivating them. A simple tool to apply is this. Before worrying about building more muscle, ask if your nervous system is actually using the muscle you already have. Often, leg weakness is more about signal quality than muscle quantity. Now, we'll dive deeper into one of the most important nutrients for reactivating this system, the amino acid leucine, and how it functions like a molecular on-web for strength. But first, if this insight is helping you see your body differently, consider subscribing. This channel is all about turning science into strength, one insight at a time. There's a moment, just seconds after you eat, when your body begins scanning for signals, not just calories, but molecular cues that tell it what to do next. And one of the most powerful signals it looks for is leucine. Leucine is an essential amino acid. That means your body can't make it, you have to get it from food. But its importance goes far beyond basic nutrition. Leucine is what scientists call an anabolic trigger. It tells your cells it's time to grow. Here's what the research shows. Leucine directly activates a cellular pathway known as mTOR, short for mammalian target of rapamycin. This pathway acts like a control tower for muscle protein synthesis. Think of mTOR as the internal switch that turns on your body's ability to build or repair muscle tissue, and leucine is the finger that flips the switch. In a 2011 study published in the Journal of Nutrition, researchers demonstrated that a single meal high in leucine could significantly increase mTOR activity and stimulate muscle protein synthesis, even in older adults. That's critical because as we age, our muscles become more resistant to anabolic signals. But leucine can override that resistance. In fact, it's one of the only nutrients shown to do so within hours. Have you ever eaten a meal high in protein but still felt tired or weak in your legs? The issue may not be the quantity of protein, but the quality and timing of leucine. Many older adults unknowingly consume just enough protein to stop muscle breakdown, but not enough leucine to stimulate muscle growth. This is why the timing and source of your protein matters. A simple tool to apply is this. Focus your first substantial meal of the day around a leucine-rich food source. Animal proteins like eggs, beef, chicken, and particularly whey protein are among the highest in leucine. Just 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine, which you can get in around 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein, is enough to trigger mTOR and switch on muscle repair. And if you want a shortcut, whey protein isolate is one of the most efficient ways to do this. It contains the ideal ratio of leucine and other essential amino acids. That's why athletes and increasingly clinicians working with seniors are using it to rapidly restore muscle function. But this isn't just about recovery, it's about reconnection. Because what's happening in your brain and muscles after consuming leucine-rich protein is more than growth, it's communication. You're restoring a biochemical conversation between your nervous system and your muscle fibers. And the faster that conversation resumes, the faster your legs feel stable, strong, and alive again. Now we're going to explore a second key to this equation, acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter that literally tells your muscles to move, and the specific food that replenishes it faster than most supplements. If you're finding these insights helpful, consider liking the video. It tells the algorithm this content matters, and it helps us bring science-backed strength tools to more people who need them. When you decide to move, to stand, to take a step, to rise from a chair, your brain sends a signal. But that signal doesn't travel directly to your muscles. It first gets translated into a chemical messenger, acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is the neurotransmitter responsible for neuromuscular transmission, the precise process by which a signal in your brain becomes physical movement. Without enough of it, your muscles don't fire properly. They misfire, delay, or simply fail to respond. This becomes increasingly important as we age. Studies show that acetylcholine production and receptor sensitivity both decline over time, especially in the motor neurons connected to the legs. That's one reason why even small lapses in balance or delayed muscle response become more common in older adults. But here's where the science gets exciting. Research has shown that the precursor to acetylcholine, choline, can rapidly restore this signaling capacity. A 2012 review published in Nutrients highlighted that increasing dietary choline can boost acetylcholine synthesis in less than 6 to 12 hours, especially when the brain is actively demanding motor coordination. So what food gives you this edge? Eggs, particularly the yolks, are the richest natural source of choline. Just 2 whole eggs can deliver over 300 milligrams of choline, which gets converted into acetylcholine and helps restore that motor control pathway. And this isn't just a nutritional fact, it's a functional protocol. If you're someone who feels your legs are slow to respond, or if you've noticed tremors, instability, or decreased power when walking or standing, try this simple morning protocol. Eat 2 whole eggs within 30 minutes of waking, ideally paired with a leucine-rich protein like whey or cottage cheese. Why? Because motor neurons are more responsive to nutrient input in the morning when acetylcholine synthesis tends to be naturally low after sleep. You're giving your body the raw material it needs to reestablish neuromuscular command when it needs it most. Have you ever noticed how much more confident your steps feel after a protein-rich breakfast? That's not a placebo. It's your central nervous system firing with sharper precision. Choline isn't just supporting muscle, it's upgrading the communication line between your brain and your legs. Now, for those who are plant-based or avoid eggs, fear not. Other sources of choline include soybeans, Brussels sprouts, and quinoa. But the bioavailability, how well your body can absorb and convert it, is highest in egg yolks. And one more thing, acetylcholine doesn't just activate muscles, it's also a major player in focus, learning, and memory. So when you restore your brain's acetylcholine levels, you're improving both physical control and cognitive clarity, a double win for aging well. In the next section, we'll look at another vital link in this chain, how blood flow impacts leg strength. And one food that boosts circulation so effectively, it's being studied as a natural treatment for vascular dementia and performance fatigue. If you're committed to regaining strength and clarity, hit subscribe. We're just getting started, and every section builds on the last with tools designed to work in your real life, starting today. Imagine trying to grow a garden, but the hose delivering water is kinked. No matter how rich the soil or how much sunlight you provide, the plants won't thrive. This is exactly what happens inside your muscles, particularly in your legs. When blood flow becomes restricted or inefficient, as we age, the arteries and capillaries that supply our lower limbs often become narrower and less responsive. This impairs oxygen delivery, nutrient transport, and waste removal. 3 pillars of muscle performance and recovery. The result? Legs that feel heavy, tired, or slow to respond. Even with adequate protein and exercise, poor circulation can silently sabotage your strength. The key molecule that regulates blood vessel dilation is nitric oxide, NO. It's a naturally produced gas in your endothelial cells, the cells that line your blood vessels, and it tells your vessels when to widen and allow more blood to flow. What's fascinating is that nitric oxide production is highly dependent on what you eat. And one of the most powerful natural boosters is beets. Beets, especially raw or juiced, contain dietary nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide. A 2015 study published in the Journal of Applied Physiology found that older adults who consumed beetroot juice experienced a significant improvement in leg muscle power within just hours of intake, especially in fast twitch fibers, which are essential for balance and fall prevention. This isn't some marginal gain. The improvements were measurable in real-world movement tests, walking speed, chair stand tests, even stair climbing. Here's a simple tool you can use. Drink 250 to 300 mLs of beetroot juice or eat 1 to 2 medium beets about 90 minutes before any physical activity. This allows the nitrates time to convert into nitric oxide and begin enhancing vasodilation. Want to take it further? Combine this with 20 minutes of light movement, a walk, light cycling, or dynamic stretching. Movement itself amplifies nitric oxide production, especially when your body is already loaded with dietary nitrates. Think of it as priming the hose and turning up the pressure. Some people worry about the sugar in beets, but the glycemic load is relatively low and the performance benefit far outweighs any spike when consumed before activity. You can also buffer this with a protein source or some fiber-rich greens. If you're finding this information useful, consider subscribing. We go deep into evidence-based tools like this, not to overwhelm you, but to equip you. Each video is designed to deliver science you can apply immediately to feel stronger, sharper, and more in control of your body. In the next section, we'll explore one of the most misunderstood aspects of muscle loss, inflammation, and how one food group can turn off the chronic low-grade fire that's weakening your leg strength from the inside out. You may not feel it, but it's there like a low, steady hum in the background. I'm talking about chronic inflammation. Unlike the sharp, obvious kind that occurs after an injury, chronic inflammation is subtle, systemic, and over time, it slowly erodes muscle function, especially in the legs. Here's what the research shows. Even low levels of chronic inflammation can lead to a decline in muscle strength, coordination, and regeneration capacity. A 2020 study published in the Journals of Gerontology found that elevated levels of inflammatory markers, particularly C-reactive protein, CRP, and interleukin-6, IL-6, were strongly associated with reduced muscle mass and strength in older adults, even when their physical activity and nutrition seemed adequate. So what's happening in your body when this occurs? Inflammation interferes with muscle protein synthesis, increases oxidative stress, and disrupts mitochondrial function, the very engines that power your muscle contractions. It also affects your nervous system's ability to efficiently recruit muscle fibers, which means even if the muscle is there, the signal to activate it becomes weaker. Now, here's the surprising part. One of the most powerful tools we have for reducing this chronic fire isn't found in the supplement aisle. It's found in your produce drawer. Enter dark leafy greens. Think spinach, kale, arugula, chard, and mustard greens. These aren't just nutrient dense, they're anti-inflammatory powerhouses. They need high levels of polyphenols, chlorophyll, magnesium, and nitrate compounds, all of which support your body's ability to down-regulate inflammatory pathways. In particular, the polyphenol quercetin, found in kale and mustard greens, has been shown to directly inhibit inflammatory cytokines like IL-6 and TNF-alpha. A study in Frontiers in Pharmacology in 2019 reported that regular intake of quercetin-rich foods can reduce inflammation markers within 2 to 4 weeks, especially when combined with moderate exercise. A simple, science-backed protocol: include at least 1 packed cup of dark leafy greens with your first meal of the day. Why the first meal? Because it helps set the tone for inflammatory regulation across your circadian rhythm, the internal clock that governs immune and hormonal responses. Try combining them with a source of healthy fat like olive oil or avocado to boost absorption of fat-soluble antioxidants like vitamin K and beta-carotene, add a squeeze of lemon or apple cider vinegar to enhance digestion and nutrient uptake. Now, it's worth noting that these foods don't work like painkillers. You won't feel the effect overnight, but over time, often in as little as 10 to 14 days, you may notice less soreness, faster recovery, more stable energy, and a renewed feeling of strength in your legs. This is where nutrition becomes more than fuel. It becomes a regulatory signal. It tells your immune system we're safe, you can power down. In our next section, we'll explore something most people overlook entirely: how the timing of your meals can either accelerate or impair your muscle recovery and leg strength, especially as you age. When it comes to regaining leg strength, what you eat is only half the story. When you eat may be just as important, especially as we age. You see, every time you consume a meal containing protein, you trigger something called muscle protein synthesis, or MPS. This is the biological process by which your body repairs and builds new muscle tissue. It's essentially your body saying, let's grow. But here's the problem. As we get older, that signal gets weaker. This is due to a phenomenon known as anabolic resistance, where your muscles become less responsive to dietary protein. So even if you're eating enough protein overall, if the timing is off, your body might not fully utilize it to rebuild muscle. So what's the fix? Here's what the research shows. Distributing protein-rich meals evenly across the day, starting with breakfast, significantly improves muscle maintenance and growth, especially in the legs and lower body. A 2014 study from the University of Texas found that people who consumed roughly equal amounts of protein at breakfast, lunch, and dinner had 25% higher muscle protein synthesis rates than those who ate the majority of their protein at dinner. Why? Because each meal acted as a separate stimulus for muscle growth, keeping the signal strong throughout the day. And there's more, eating within 30 to 60 minutes after light exercise or walking can enhance this effect, particularly in older adults. It's called the anabolic window, a period when your muscle cells are most sensitive to nutrients and can rapidly uptake amino acids to rebuild tissue. Here's a simple, actionable protocol. Step 1. Aim for 30 grams of high-quality protein at your first meal of the day. That might look like 3 eggs with sautéed spinach and lentils, or a Greek yogurt bowl with hemp seeds and berries. Step 2. After any physical activity, whether it's a walk, stretch session, or light resistance training, eat a meal or snack that combines protein and complex carbs within 1 hour. This might be a smoothie with protein powder and banana, or a plate of quinoa beans and olive oil. The carbs help shuttle amino acids into your muscle cells more efficiently by stimulating insulin, a hormone that enhances nutrient uptake. Step 3, avoid protein stacking at dinner. While it's tempting to save the biggest meal for the evening, research shows your muscles can only synthesize a limited amount of protein at one time, usually around 30 to 40 grams. After that, the rest is oxidized for energy or stored. By optimizing your meal timing and distribution, you're not just feeding your muscles, you're communicating with them. You're telling your body, stay strong, stay active, stay alive. And that's really the big idea here. Muscle isn't just about movement, it's a metabolic organ that protects your vitality. In our conclusion, we'll bring all of this together, from the critical role of nitric oxide to the power of nutrient timing, and give you a clear, empowering summary with one small step you can take today to transform your leg strength, your energy, and your overall health. If you've made it this far, you've already taken the most important step, becoming informed. You now know that rebuilding leg strength, even in just 12 hours, is not a fantasy. It's a physiological reality when you understand how to work with your body's natural systems instead of against them. Let's quickly recap the 6 science-backed insights we've covered. Nitric oxide is the molecule that drives blood flow to your legs, helping deliver oxygen, nutrients, and energy where they're needed most. Without it, muscles stagnate. Beetroot, especially in concentrated powder form, is one of the most powerful natural boosters of nitric oxide, triggering real, measurable increases in leg blood flow and performance within just hours. Your endothelium, the inner lining of your blood vessels, plays a critical role in muscle oxygenation. And foods rich in nitrates, polyphenols, and antioxidants can literally revitalize this system. Fast-twitch muscle fibers, especially in your legs, are vulnerable to age loss. but they're also remarkably responsive to changes in blood flow, nutrition, and neural input. The gut-muscle connection means that what you eat doesn't just affect digestion, it programs the way your brain and muscles communicate. Beetroot's effect on gut microbes plays a key role in this. And finally, meal timing, especially around movement, helps bypass anabolic resistance and keeps your muscle building machinery switched on. The common thread here is that your body wants to regenerate. It's built for adaptation. The challenge is giving it the right inputs in the right amounts at the right time. So here's your next step. Simple, clear, and effective. Tomorrow morning, start your day with a beetroot-based smoothie. Add in a source of protein like Greek yogurt or a vegan alternative, and go for a 15-minute walk immediately after drinking it. This primes your blood vessels, triggers nitric oxide release, and initiates muscle signaling. Then have a protein-rich breakfast within 30 to 60 minutes. This is not just about leg strength. It's about momentum, because the science is clear. Even small interventions, a single nutrient, a short walk, a well-timed meal, can produce fast, measurable changes in how your body performs and how you feel, especially in your legs, which are not only your foundation for movement, but also a mirror of your metabolic health and vitality. And as you apply these tools, day by day, you'll start to notice something subtle but profound. It's not just that your legs feel stronger, it's that you feel capable again, more energized, more stable, more you. So try this one protocol, notice what changes. And if this video helped you see your body and your potential in a new light, I'd love for you to like, comment, and subscribe. This community is here to help you not just survive, but truly thrive with evidence-based tools that support your mind, your body, and your life. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.